Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm Eric Dullin from the private lab LAPDC in France, specialized in macro-piquet. I will present the current investigation on claim energy effect. And the initial contact and the abstract was conducted with Rudy Varvoglis, president of IMI, Institute of Metapsychic in France. So the first contact we have, with Rudy Cech, was an email when he sent us this video. So this video where he showed making some punch in a plastic cup without touching it. And in the first step, he made no intention to move it, so there was no move. And then with intention, it appears a big move. So analyze the video, then make some experiment to try to move the plastic cup with punch around, and with no success. So we did a video meeting with Mario and Rudy. And finally, we decided that I will study the case. So I did conduct some experimentation during early this year, in February and June, and make some control experiment between and after June. And globally, we record more than 118 videos. And so this is the first analysis of this experiment, and it's an ongoing project. So the first experimental setup was done. It was done close to Marseille. In fact, it's it's an office normally used for Chinese medicine consultation. So it's a small room with all what we need. We use plastic cups that I provide. We use a graduated ruler to measure the displacement with an iPad, taking the video in front of it, with another camera to have another angle, and sometimes with another angle with another smartphone. And we make some analysis frame by frame on the video. So the main effect was this one. So you can see there is a screen here, so we can see the fist positions. So no intention, no move. And with intentions, get some movement. And so I conduct some experiments in February and June to see. So first only with a fist, then with open hand, double hand, with some washing approach, and even with cushion to have a bigger surface, but no move. So the analysis here, we have a frame-by-frame analysis of the punch. So you see the punch arriving here and arriving here. So at start, it moved at 9 meters per second, and then on arrival, it was at 2.57 horizontally speed, and it was at 12 centimeters from the target. So this was for the with intention. We have the same work with no intention and with the experimenter. And the conclusion, so the summary of the result, is that when Rudy Cech used intention, he was able to get a move from 30 centimeters with a move of the target of 8 centimeters, but he was able to have a move of the target of 37 centimeters when he was at 12 centimeters from the target. This has to be compared with no intention. In this case, even at 5 centimeters of the target, there is no move. And for the experimenters at 6.5 centimeters, there is no move either. And the max speed of the target was 1 meter per second. About the speed of the punch, there were differences at the start, but at the arrival, they were very close. So 2.7 for moving with intention, 2.4 with no intention, and the experimenter was at 2.7. So it's interesting to see that is not much difference, but a big difference, no move and move. The second setup was objective was to measure the airspeed with an anemometers. So anemometers is like an inverted fan, in fact, and we measure the speed of this turbine and convert it in the speed of the air going through it. And so we conduct 13 trials, sorry, and I will just show you the big picture. So on the left here, you have to experiment with intention. So you see that we have 8 centimeters or 9 centimeters from the target, and we got 1 meter per second for the speed of the air and the anemometers. And here we are closer, we are at 4 to 5 centimeters with no intention this time. And in this case, we have only 0.2 to 0.3 meter per second. So if we are 2 times closer, and we get 3 times smaller speed. If we look to the global trials, so the 13 trials, we globally have a very close average distance from the anemometers, but the average speed is 4 times meters with intention. So and for the experimenter, it's about only 0.3 meters per second. And you have a display of the anemometers. So then the third setup was to simulate with a fan an air current, which would be able to move the target. So the idea is to have a variable speed fan, which was adapted to the size of the feet. So to have air current close to the one which could be produced by the fist. And the variable speed fan is set to obtain first an initial movement of the cup. So we move the speed until we have a movement of the cup, and then with the anemometers, we measure the speed at the level of the target. And the second was to obtain a maximum speed, which was close to the one obtained by RC, so it was 1 meter per second. So same approach. And what's the result is that we need a minimal airspeed of 1.8 meter per second at the level of the target, so to be able to move it with an horizontal air current. And if we want the target to move at 1 meter per second max, we have to use at least 2.7 to 4 meter per second at the level of the target. Then we try to go a little further and compare the curves, the evolution of the velocity. So here you have 2 curves. One, so the horizontal scale is in fact in number of frames. So each frame, it's in fact a frame of video. So it's 1 divided by 60 seconds, 1/60th of seconds. And so globally here you have 5/10 of seconds. Okay. And so you can see that this is and here is the speed. So from the target, so the plastic cup. So from 0 to 1 meter per second here. Same here. And here is the curves for the use obtained with the experiment with Rudy Cech. And this is the experiment get with a fan. The fan with 3.7 meter per second, the one we see just before. So you can see that in fact to get the 1 meter per second speed for the plastic cup, here we need 6 frames, and here we need 12 frames. So we are very low. So clearly it means that the speed to have the same kind of curve has to be bigger, at least more than 5 meters per second. So if we make a conclusion of this setup, the airspeed required to start a movement is higher than the maximum speed obtained with the anemometers, because we saw that we get 1.1 meter per second at the anemometers initially, and here we need 1.8. And the airspeed to move the target at the max speed of 1 meter per second is 3 to 4 times greater than the max speed obtained with RC anemometers, because it was 1.1 versus 3.7. And it's 10 times greater if we compare with the one used by the experimenters and the one with no intention. And so the comparison between the velocity curves, as we see, shows that the velocity of over 5 meters per second is required to obtain similar effect. The for the setup, was to make some airflow analysis. So for this, we use generators of fog, which was able to generate some particle of smokes, in fact, and we illuminate this particle with a laser line, in fact, line. So we get a plan where you see all the flow of the air, and the punch is done in the plane of the laser. So what's the result? Here is this, I just get some extract. So this is with intent. So you clearly see the boost of the air. And you can see frame by frame what happens. And then you can see the same without intent. Okay, so you see there is a big difference. So the highlight, with intention, they are show very strong movement. Their velocity is greater than 5 meters per second, so that's because we are able to measure the speed of the air. And so without intention, it was more than close to 0.5 to 1. So it's 5 to 10 times less. And with the experimentators, the velocity is also in the order of 0.5 meters per second. Let's look now about the intention. So we use a random number generation application. So if we have a number between 0 to 50, it's no intention, and with more than 50 to 100, it's with intention. With this, we make 20 random draw of 20 trials with or without intention, and we get so 100% move of the target with intention, with a max displacement of 48 centimeters and a mean of 6 centimeters, average of 22. And with no intention, we get 80% of no move. And the two other moves was 0.5, 25 centimeters and 0.8 centimeters. So really, really big difference between intent and no intent. We look also about the screen effect. So trying to see if we put some screen between the punch and the target, there is some inhibition or not. We use a fabric curtain with a fine weave, and we see that is significantly deformed without touching it. Significantly deformed, and this is the curtain which push the cup. Okay. And when we make a screen which is more rigid, so attached here and here, there is no move of the target. There was no move of the target. So conclusion on the effect, it's impossible to reproduce the effect with a simple fist using a conventional punch. We have a high success rate in controlling the triggering of the effect according to intention, more than 80%. And this is not explained by the Rudy Cech physical behavior, for example, the body movement, or distance and speed parameters. And if you want to achieve the effect with an horizontal airflow, the speed is more than 5 meters seconds to be needed. And whereas the airflow speed obtained on the emitters from punch did not exceed 1.1 meter per second and 0.3 for without intention. And the approaching fist speed do not exceed 2.7 meters per second. The analysis of the airflow show effectively speed of 5.4 meters per second in some cases. And the effect appears to be inhibited by a screen, which would confirm an action using airflow. So, in fact, we got some last result. We observe that we have some high vertical fist speed in different tests, so around 7 meters per second. So we try to simulate the effect obtained by Rudy Cech with a vertical sweep of a small flat surface, 10 centimeters wide, in front of the cup. And we use for that a small bundle of sheet of paper. And in fact, we obtain some similar effect, giving us directions in which to look for the physical effect at the origin of the movement, which also could be triggered by a key effect. We don't know. Also, we got some small move, few centimeters, has been obtained punctually by the experimenters with a vertical sweep with this punch. And you can see that on the following video. So this is a bundle of sheet of paper, 10 centimeters wide. And you see that when you make this kind of move, you get some move of the cup. Okay, which is close, the size is close to the fist. But when we try to do that with the fist, we get only some centimeters move, but we get one. But the counterpoint of this is that, in fact, if we look at the test, without intention, we have also vertical speed. So when we have a vertical speed of 5.4 meters per second, with no intention, we have no move. Also, simple vertical punch with the fist produce only some few centimeters move, as we saw on the video. And the physical movement executed by Rudy Cech to move the cup is not a simple vertical sweep, but it's more a punch with an incline movement. And with this approach, we try it, we don't get any move, even if at the end we had some small movement of the wrist, as we use in, for example, in a badminton smash to get more vertical speed. And I give you here some result obtained on the impact width. So this is 5 cups aligned. Since there is 2 videos. And you see the big move with an inclined movement. And here with one more video. So you have 3 angles. So classical physics or key energy effect. This is need for further study, which will continue to develop control experiments capable of reproducing the same movement as the and identify the physical parameters required. Compare this requirement with the ability of a simple punch as performed by Rudy Cech, and continue to conduct airflow experiments, analyzes in detail the process of generating the airflow from the punch, as you see in the video, in order to detect any physical anomalies, and also see with Rudy Cech if he can obtain the same kind of effect, even by modifying his punching techniques. So if you need to have email, you can directly contact me. The study was entirely carried out by APDC without the use of external fund. Thank you very much for your attention.